this section is important is because I want you guys to see the shortcuts. So if it speaks to you, you can use it later on, okay? But what can you use for all of these problems and get away with it no matter what? The smiley face method, also known as foiling, okay? So I need you to write at the top of this lesson that you can always foil. So even if you forget everything that I teach you today, you can get by with everything that we learned from 7.2, which was foiling, okay? I just want to be crystal clear on that. You guys heard me, correct? Yes. All right. Now, all of these things that we're going to learn are just little mini shortcuts, okay? And some of you are going to fall in love with them, okay? Because they're very, very, very helpful. Like, you're literally going to see a problem and you can predict what the answer is just by looking at it, okay? The first little shortcut that we're going to do is called the square of a binomial pattern, okay? So when you have a binomial, for example, a plus b, and what are we doing to a plus b? You're squaring it. That means we're taking a plus b and multiplying it by a plus b, okay? You will always get a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. Now, I want to prove this to you. I don't want you to just take it and be like, okay, that's what it is. Let's actually FOIL it. So, down on the right-hand side, I want you guys to actually physically write a plus b squared. Now, you guys just told me that a plus b squared is the same as a plus b times a plus b times a plus b. And you guys agree we could just FOIL this guy? What do I multiply first in my FOIL method for this guy? A times a. Then what? B times b. Let's do a times a first. What is a times a, guys? So it's a squared plus, what's b times b? B squared. What do I multiply next for FOILing? B times a. What's b times a? BA. Just BA. And what is a times b? AB. So plus AB. You guys, are BA and AB the same? What's different about them?
B's in front and A's in front.
B's in front and A is behind, and then A is in front and B is in the back. But didn't I say, isn't 3 times 4 the same as 4 times 3? So can't we just rewrite it as a squared plus b squared plus ab plus ab? Do you guys agree with that? Is that legal? Are you sure? There's nothing wrong with that. Remember, multiplication, 3 times 4 is what? 12. What's 4 times 3? So does the order in multiplication matter? Does the order in multiplication matter? No, we got 12 either way. Do you guys agree with that? Yeah. So we can totally rewrite it like this. Now, let's combine like terms. What are my like terms here?
AB and AB.
AB and AB. So what's 1AB plus 1AB?
2AB.
So it's a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. So this is where this formula is derived from. Now, they put the 2ab in the middle. So let's just rewrite it. It's going to be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is how they write the formula, okay? Now, this is very important. So we just derived the formula. You guys just did your first very small little proof, okay? So congratulations, all right? Now, why is this formula important? Because if you can identify what A and B are, you just plug them in here and you have exactly what you're going to FOIL to. Go ahead, okay? So, the only change that happens is when you have A minus B, okay? When you have A minus B and you're squaring it, the entire formula stays the same. Just highlight or circle that middle term, that 2AB becomes what? A minus or a negative, okay? Segi, what's up?
How come we don't combine the a squared and the b squared?
Ooh, good question. Guys, are a squared and b squared like terms? No, why not? But their exponents are the same. different bases. Remember, in order to be a like term, same base and same what? Exponent. They both have to match. Do you see that, Segi? I agree that their exponents are the same, but their bases do not match. Gucci?
Makes sense.
All right. So, can we get away with foiling every single problem?
Yes.
Of course. But I want you guys, for the first few, we're going to do both methods so you guys can see how we do both, okay? So take a look at the very first example. We have x plus 4, and we're squaring it, okay? This is an example of a plus b squared. Write that down. And let's write down our formula. It is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now, I'm going to do this problem first by just foiling it, okay? And then the second time I do it, I'm going to use the formula. So I'm going to change colors after the first method. The first one I'll do in blue, and we're going to label this the FOIL method.
Are we always going to have to remember that formula?
No, you don't have to remember this formula at all, as long as you do what to every single problem? As long as you foil, okay? So if you're like, I'm the FOIL champion of the world, okay, and you feel like you can do every single problem by foiling, then literally foil every problem in this lesson, okay? But I want you guys to copy down the shortcut because some of you are going to fall in love with it. I promise you, okay? All right, so let's foil. Let's take 3x plus 4, and we're multiplying it by what? 3x plus 4, because that is the definition of squaring something. Do you guys agree? You're multiplying whatever the base is by itself. Are you guys with me? Okay. Juliana, what would you do to foil this?
Do the little
Eyebrows. Okay, perfect. What am I multiplying here, Juliana?
3x.
All right. What is that?
9x is
Excellent. And then 4 times 4?
16.
Very good. Someone take care of the bottom half of the smiley face. AJ?
You do 4 times 3x, and then maybe 12x, and 3x times 4, which would be 12x.
Very good. Do you guys notice something? What's the same after I distributed?
12x.
Do you see how that middle term, that 12x, is the same? That will always happen in this method. That's why we can just multiply that by 2. Karen, what's your question? Yes, you can go ahead, okay? So, now, we're not done yet because we have to do what? Combine like terms and reorganize, right? It needs to be in standard form. So, the 9x squared stays where it's at. What comes next? 24x. How'd you get 24x, McCarvin?
I added 12x to 12x.
You combine the 12x's. Very good. And what's the last term, guys?
16.
Plus 16. Now, for those of you that want to use the shortcut, let me show you how easy it is to use the shortcut, okay? So, go back up to our formula, and let's change our colors to a different color, right? This is going to be method number 2, and we're going to label this the shortcut.
Do we have to write this?
Yes, you do, okay? You must write down both methods for the first few problems, because you don't know if you like the shortcut yet, because you haven't learned it, okay? So, the first thing you need to do is identify, okay, what is A going to be in this problem?
3x.
A is going to be 3x. A matches up with 3x because it's the first term in your binomial. Do you guys see that? We were taking 3x plus 4 and we're squaring it. Do you guys agree A matches up with 3x? What does B match up with? Just 4. Now apply the formula. Take your A value and square it. So we're taking 3x and we're squaring it. Then we're adding 2 times, what was A? 3x. And times your B, which is 4. And then you're adding B squared, which is 4 squared. Be careful here, guys. What is 3x squared? 9x to the second power. Because it's 3x times another 3x. What is 2 times 3x times 4? 24x. And what is 4 squared?
16.
Here's your aha moment. Did our answers match?
So if you were to do the shortcut, would you have to remember the formula?
Yes. If you want to use this shortcut, you have to memorize this formula. But guys, it's very easy to remember, okay? You take your first term, you square it, that's a squared. You take your second term, you square it. This middle term is just 2 times both of them multiplied together. So what's 3x times 4? You got 12x, right? Multiply that by 2, that gives you the 24x in the middle. Okay? All right, now the second example for letter B, we're going to do both methods as well, okay? From after letter B, you can use whatever you want. I'm going to use the shortcut for the rest of the lesson, okay? If you're a FOIL person, though, FOIL the rest of these problems, okay? So let's check out B. Let's do it first off by using the FOIL method.
How was it? 1 second off.
So number 1, FOIL. Guys, just a reminder, your time limit for the bathroom is how long? All right, so let's go ahead and FOIL. We have 5x minus 2y, and we're multiplying it by 5x minus 2y. You guys in agreement? What do I do? Segi.
You multiply the 5x.
Yep.
Gives
What?
you 25x plus 2.
You're so good.
And then you multiply the negative 2y.
Yep.
This gives you positive 4y to the second.
You're so good. Let's go. Okay, McCarvin, take over. Oh, no, not yet. Well, can you please help me? I know you know it.
Alright. So what you do for you would do like the bottom part. So
Yep.
you would times negative 2y and 5x. And
Okay.
that would give you negative 10xy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will times 5x with negative 2y. And then you would get negative 10xy as well.
Very good. Do you notice how those two terms are the same, guys?
Yeah.
Hence the multiply by 2 part of our shortcut. All right, so check it out. We're going to rewrite this. It's going to be 25x squared negative 20xy and positive 4y squared. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, these three, all of their degrees are what? They're all 2. So does it matter the order we put them in? No. Technically, the order does not matter. I'm going to tell you guys though, 99 times out of 100, when the degrees are the same, they go by alphabetical order. So what comes in the alphabet first, X or Y?
X.
X. So that's why you're seeing the X terms first, the mixed terms, and what was very last?
Y.
Your only Y term. That was only had Y in it. Because all of the degrees match. Now, if I had a cubed term, would that have to come in the front or at the end?
Front.
In the front, because that has the highest degree. Are we all on the same page? Okay, let's do the shortcut method. And yes, you have to write this method down. So step number 2, this is not an a plus b squared anymore. This is a minus b squared. And our formula says it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. The same formula, except one minus sign in front of that 2ab term. Now, in this problem, what's my a value? A matches up with 5x, and my b? It's 2y. Now, I'll tell you why it's 2y. The formula already accounts for a negative, right? It says a minus b. So b is already being subtracted. It should match up with 2y. Because if b was negative 2y, that would turn into a plus sign, okay? So b is a positive 2y. All right, so plug it in. Take 5x and square it. What's 5x times 5x? 25x to the second. Don't forget that power. What's negative 2 times 5x times 2y? negative 2 times 5x times 2y? Negative 20xy. And what is 2y squared, or 2y times 2y? 4y squared. Did the shortcut match the original? Check it out. Do I care which method you use? No. Try letter C and letter D on your own. Mateo.
On the test, will you be telling us to use the one method or the other?
No, I will not specify what method you need to use. You can use either method and get away with it, okay? All right, guys, I want you to try C and D on your own. Go. Answers are on the board. I would like you to check them with your group and talk about it. You have 30 seconds. Go. Okay, now, listen up. Guys, I did both of these using the shortcut. So I literally did it in my head. Watch how I did it. My A value here is what? X. My B value is what? 7. What's X? What's A squared? X squared. What's B squared? 49. What's 2 times both of these multiplied by each other? It's 7x times 2, which is 14x. Boom, boom, and boom. If you foiled it, you would have gotten the same answer.
It's too brainy. Like, there's so much
It's
room
too
for error.
brainy. I've never heard that before. Okay.
It's still like in your head. Like, if you can't see it.
The second one, your A value should have been 7x. Your B value should have been 3. But remember, what's in between them? A minus sign. So this one, 7x squared is 49x squared. Do you guys see that? 3 squared is 9. So I have a positive 49x squared in the front. I have a positive 9 at the back. Then I have, how did I get this term? Well, I multiplied 7x times 3, and I got 21x, correct? Multiply it by 2, what do you get? 42x. Make sure it's a negative because that sign in the middle was a negative. I need a show of hands. How many people are still just going to foil? All right.
Me.
Cool. Okay. So the next example I want to walk you guys through is something called the sum and difference pattern. Now, this one is actually helpful. So if you don't use the first 2 shortcuts, I'm okay with that. But put a star next to this one. This one you should actually 100% learn because it saves you a lot of time. Not just like a little bit of foil time, a lot of time, okay? So this method happens when you have 2 terms that are the exact same, except what's different about them? The sign in the middle. One is going to be a plus sign, in other words, hence sum, and the other one's going to be a minus sign, hence the word difference. This is how we get the sum and difference pattern, okay? Now, what happens when you use this formula, okay, is the middle terms, the negative 2x and the positive 2x, cancel. So you only have the first and the last terms. So when we think about it in terms of A and B, you just square your A, you square your B, and you subtract them, and that's it. So this is what the pattern looks like. So you're going to have A plus B and A minus B. When you multiply them together, you'll notice it's A squared minus B squared. This is the whole thing. You stay in binomial form, okay? You do not advance to a trinomial, okay? You lose that middle term because it's going to cancel out. Let's see it here. So we had A plus 3 and, X plus 3, X minus 3, right? Your A value is X, your B value is 3. Square both of them, X squared and 9, and you just subtract them. Now, let's do this same problem, but let's FOIL so you guys can see those middle terms canceling out. So go ahead on example, the example part. Do you guys see this problem right here? Yeah. Let's FOIL it. What would I FOIL first? What would I do first? X and X, that would give me X to the second. Then I would do
3 times 3. 2 times negative 3 would give you
negative 9. Then I would do
3 times x,
positive 3x, and x times negative 3, which is negative 3x. Do you guys see it happening already?
Yeah.
The 3x's do what?
Cancel out.
Cancel out. So we just have x squared minus 9. Do you see the benefit of this method now?
Yeah.
Okay? This is called sum and difference. One must be a plus sign, one must be a minus sign.
Are you actually?
Yeah, Segi.
It would be wrong if you combine them instead of just taking the.
No, you could FOIL this too. Okay? Oh wait, combine them. What do you mean?
The 3x and the negative 3x.
But what would they combine to?
Oh, 0.
0. Do you see that? That's the whole point I'm trying to make, is that these middle terms will cancel out. Okay? So, in the next examples, we're going to FOIL the first one and use the sum and difference formula. And then the second one I'm only going to use the shortcut. Okay? So, for the first one, we have t plus 5, t minus 5. Let's FOIL it first. Someone walk me through the process of FOILing this. AJ.
T times t.
Gives you?
T squared.
Okay, go on.
And then 5 times negative.
Go ahead.
Jonathan Leone, reports student services. Jonathan Leone, reports student services. Thank you.
Keep going.
And then you do 5 times t. Then it would be 5t. And then it would be t times negative 5. It would be negative 5t.
Okay.
Those would cancel out. So it would be t to the second minus 25.
T squared minus 25. Minus 25. Yeah, go ahead. Set a timer. Okay, so that's a T, by the way. I know, my handwriting's sloppy. That's a T, okay? Hey, let's do the sum and difference formula. Write it again, T minus 5. And, nope, T plus 5 and T minus 5. What's my A value, people? T. What's my B value? 5. A squared. T squared. Minus, what's your B squared? 25. That's it.
So you don't even have to do it.
You don't even have to do that. Okay? So, by FOILing, did we get the same answer? Yes, but did we save a little bit of time by knowing the shortcut? Absolutely. Now, do you guys see how this would be helpful though? Even if you don't use the shortcut, knowing what you should get makes it so that when you FOIL, you're just anticipating what your answer is going to be. You actually know what you should be getting before you actually finish the problem. So even though this lesson, if you're going to FOIL everything, this lesson doesn't really apply to you, right? Because you're getting the same answers regardless. But having that foresight to be like, okay, this is a sum and difference problem. That middle term's going to cancel out. Now you're ahead of the game and you know what your results should be. So when you get there, you're like, okay, this matches what I should have gotten, or something's off. Maybe I did my algebra wrong, okay? All right, letter B. I'm only going to use the shortcut. Is this a sum and difference problem? Yes, because everything matches except for what? The plus sign and the minus sign. You have one of each. So I'm going to say my A value is what? 3x. My B value is what? Y. Square both of them. What is 3x squared? 9x squared. And what is y squared? Just y squared. What goes in between these two terms? A minus sign. That's my answer. You always put a minus sign for the sum and difference method. Someone FOIL and check my work. Did I do it right? Okay, I know you FOILers in the back. You guys are ahead of the game. Okay, I want you to try C and D and E. F is just a typo. It's the same problem. It's a duplicate. You can cross out F, by the way. But do the next three. Do C, D, and E. Go.
You need to watch out.
Okay, so what was this method called? Sum and difference, because there's going to be a plus sign and a minus sign. Hey, people, what I need you to do, we're going to do one more thing. Go to the very, let's check out, last slide. So go back to the previous slide. For letter A, do you guys agree if we were to multiply 26 by 34, normally we would just write, okay, 26 times 34 like this, and you would multiply it out? Let's do it, and then I'll show you the shortcut. So what's 4 times 6? 24, bring up the 2. 2 times 4 plus 2, 10. So bring down a 0 and a 1. Were you joking about the 16? Okay. Then we do 3 times 6, which is 18. Bring down a 0 because we're moving over places. Do you guys agree? And then 3 times 2? 6. But remember, there's a 1 up here, right?
17.
So it would be 7. We add them. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 8 is 8. And 1 plus 7 is? So 884, right? Now, what I want us to kind of visualize is think of this as a special product, right? Let's think about 26 and 34. Both of those numbers are very close to what number that's divisible by 10? 30. So let's write both of these as a product of 30. Now, we can't actually change the numbers, right? So we have to make this 30 equivalent to 26. What is 30? How would 30 be equivalent to 26?
30 minus 4.
You subtract 4, right? How would 30 be equivalent to 34? You add 4. What pattern do you notice here? Sum and difference. So check this out. We're going to take 30, and what do we do with it? You square it. What's 30 squared? 900. And then we subtract your b value squared. What's my b value here? 16. Well, 4, right? You square it and you get 16. What's 900 minus 16? 884. Wow. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, high five. You get a high five for that.
Okay.
Wait, what?
No, don't use this.
That's just like complicated.
Do not get complicated by this. If it complicated anything, then just stick to what you know, okay? All right. B. You multiply sideways. Interesting. Okay. Hey. Let's calm down. Let's pick it up. This is the last example, I promise. Then we're done. 21 squared. What would I do normally? 21 times 21. Let's do it so we can see what our answer should be. 1 times 1 is? 1 times 2 is? Bring down a? 2 times 1? 2 times 2? What do I get? 441, right? All right. Now, 21 is close to what number? 20. So let's write it as 20, not minus 1, plus 1. And then we're squaring it. Do you guys remember this formula? It'll be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, correct? This is the sum binomial squared. Yes? No? Okay. What's my a value? What's 20 squared? 400. What's 2 times 20 times 1? 40. And what's 1 squared? What's 400 plus 40 plus 1? Say what? Can you foil it? Sure, go for it. You can foil it. Okay, guys, hey, listen up. Again, am I going to quiz you or test you on something like this? No. Everything you're going to see are the previous examples. Now, check it out. On Big Ideas, will I ask you some questions like this? Yes. I want you to try, see if you can come up with a special product. If you can't, can you just multiply it out? Sure, okay, and you'll get the right answer. But I would like you to try to write it out like this. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, turn these in. And put a star next to this. Everything we talked about is organized into one slide, okay? The 3 formulas you need to know. A plus b squared is that trinomial a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. A minus b squared is going to be the same trinomial with a negative sign in front of the 2ab. And then the last one, a plus b times a minus b, your sum and difference. It's just a squared minus b squared. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It will not show up on a test. It will not show up on a quiz. But it's just something you guys can mentally think about to help you solve larger multiplication problems, okay?